What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Sweat It Out podcast for today's Money Vault segment, brought to you by myself and my co-host, Bryan Gorrita. What is up, guys? Brian, let's get into it.
All right, guys. So we're going to start off with something that just came up right now today, and that was, what is it, Anthony?
Woo! This one's a little wild. All right, so let's just say, if somebody were to do it, we would have expected this guy to do it. All right, so we're going to throw it out there. Literally, we saw this probably like 20, 30 minutes ago. We want to talk about it. We looked up our phones during one of our little quick breaks, and we're like, whoa. And we just realized that Antonio Brown decided in the middle of the game, it was third quarter, he was on the sideline, to take off his pads and his shirt, throw it into the crowd, and run off the field and start dancing on the end zone to all the fans, and then he went right into the locker room, and he said he quit. Now, there's different rumors going on, but the one that they're saying that is probably the most accurate, because they're getting sources, is that the coach benched him, took him out of the game and benched him. And they're saying that he got furious, he got upset, and he decided to do what he did. Mike Evans was trying to calm him down. There's videos of it showing it, but apparently that didn't work, and he decided to do what he does best.
Interesting.
Interesting, right? But you know what's most interesting? What's most interesting, Brian? Tell us.
Because this is a Money Vault segment, we thought it was appropriate to talk about how much money Antonio Brown has made. And diving into this, and mind you, I don't know how accurate this information is, but we're looking at celebritynetworth.com. They say that Antonio Brown is an estimated net worth of $20 million. In his NFL career, he's made $71 million off his NFL contracts. And we don't know what his investments or his endorsement deals are. So that's a big, question mark.
The only thing I know he owns is he owns a sports performance facility. So
we don't know how much it's, his net worth really is. And then it shows here that he's, since he's been in the NFL, he's got like $300,000 worth of fines.
Yeah.
I think if there's anybody here who can get up and quit his job at that moment, I think it's Antonio Brown. Looks like here he has the money to do it.
Well, let's talk about this. And the reason we're bringing this up is because we want to know, do you think it was smart that he did what he did, the way he did it? And do you think that he's in the financial means to do so? All right, because it also came up that about a month ago, reported that Antonio Brown is missing $30 million from his bank account thanks to Raiders owner Mark Davis. For the whole situation that happened when he decided to go to the Raiders, and he worked out, negotiated a contract, got that contract, and then with the whole spiel that happened, got himself in the bullshit, and then the same thing, diva status, got out there, and he's not getting. I think he was supposed to get paid a certain amount. I think he only got some, and then apparently he's missing those $30 other million that he thought he was going to get paid. Apparently, till a month ago, he thought he was getting those $30 million from the Raiders.
I mean, that sucks.
That does suck.
But you know what? Looking at what he has a business. The guy's an entrepreneur. He has some things going on for him. I think if he's smart and he's been investing his money, he has the right team around him, he'll be fine.
Well, I know a few years ago, he was in a money-bind situation. Which I've also heard is one of the reasons why he was trying to come back into the NFL. I know there were some other things he had to fix up, but remember, he's also been in and out of trouble, causing tons of money in court, court fines, court fees, lawyers, all that stuff. So he's had to pay up a lot of money in the last few years for some of the shit that he's been in and out of, of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. We don't know what happened in that scenario, what went down, what was the issue, and why he quit. I'm assuming if you're going to get on the field and make a show like he did, it was something really big that happened. But, again, man, if you're making that type of move, at least knowing me, I'm not going to make a crazy move, burn all the bridges, if I don't think I have enough resources to cover myself.
I think the biggest bridge that you could potentially burn is the one with Tom Brady. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that bridge is big, but I think the biggest bridge is the one he burned himself on. Who cares what Tom Brady thinks? I think he hurt his image because think about it. Like athletes like T.O. and all these other guys that haven't been able to really translate. This guy, he has a polarizing personality. If he did certain things differently, he would have kind of the same. I think he could have a relevance, not of Tom Brady, but he can be a lasting figure in the media. The problem with him is that, people are going to look at him and think he's arrogant. People are going to kind of like brush him off. He's done this BS a couple times before, and I get it, but
Do you think it can also be a publicity stunt?
for what though?
I don't know.
What NFL team will want that? They wouldn't want that type of shit. If he did it, if he walked out after the game ended and then just quit and didn't make the spectacle that he did, it would have been
Completely different.
completely different. It's fine. But when he made that show, it's just like a
He
statement.
wanted to walk off with attention.
Yeah, he wanted to walk off
It
with
was more an
attention.
ego thing.
Yeah, it's an ego thing. I honestly, personally, I think he's more than fine. If he
You know
did
what's
that
interesting,
move,
though? I want to know if him doing that, he's going to get hit with a fine. And I want to know if that's going to affect the remainder of his whatever his profits were going to be at the end of the year.
who knows, man? I mean, a lot of those contracts, they have clauses in there that if he were to do some stuff like that, he doesn't get paid the remainder of his contract. So it's interesting to see how that's going to play out. What is the language he has in that contract? Because he might not even get the rest of the money.
No. But let's say these behaviors continue in his normal career, in his normal life.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that's going to play out for him financially?
Remember, too, and before I even answer that, think about this, too. They say he quit, but you don't know if he really quit. This is so fresh right now. We're going to find out
Ryan,
in the
what do
coming
you
days.
think? What do you think? Tell me the truth. What do you think?
I'm telling you what I think. I think in the coming days, we're going to find out and see what is going to happen here. I don't know.
Do you think he actually quit, or do you think he's just something else happened there?
I think, bro, that it really depends, man. I think it really depends. I don't know if he quit or not. We don't know.
Do you want Antonio Brown on your team?
I think he's a gifted talent. It's just a personality. I don't think he would be. He wouldn't fit in a Bill Belichick system. That we all know that.
Would he fit in your system?
I wouldn't want a person like that on my team.
Okay.
If they're willing to quit on you and you're that far in the season, I don't know if you want that personality on your team.
I do not want that on my team at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want that. So if he left, good for Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't really need him.
No.
Tom Brady can get a guy from the practice squad and still score 10 touchdowns with that guy.
Tom Brady has weapons everywhere.
He's the weapon.
He is the weapon. He's a nuclear bomb.
He's a huge nuclear bomb. So I'm not even worried about Antonio Brown. He has the money, and if he doesn't have the money, I don't feel bad for him either. He's very privileged to play in an NFL, to quit. I wish I was making millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and I could just leave at any moment, just say, hey, get out and just quit and let everybody down. But what happens when you leave and you quit? You let your employees down. You let your family down. You let your team down. Other people are depending on you. So what he did is the most selfish thing that you can ever do.
Yeah.
So I don't respect that. Now, if he went and he spoke to the coach like a man and whatever afterwards, and maybe the coach says something to him, and then in private he calls him out, yells at him, tells him some crazy shit. Hey, that's in private. That's between them. That's men. But you let your team down, make that spectacle there, embarrass Tom Brady, embarrass the organization that gave you a Super Bowl ring, that put you in a position to win, that turned you around.
I agree.
That's inconsiderate.
I agree. And that's watch. In the coming days, we're going to find out. We're going to find out the ramifications. We're going to find out all the things that are going to happen. We're going to really see what really happened during that situation. Maybe somebody told him some wild shit. Maybe the coach told him some crazy ass shit. For all we know, doesn't mean he should have gone out there and done some crazy shit too.
When you're a professional, you don't do that.
No.
There's times when I've dealt with clients and they were unprofessional, and you handle it.
You handle it normal.
You handle it a professional way.
Neutral, professional. That's it.
Yeah, if your client doesn't want you to work with them, or you have an issue with them, or they give you
Ain't
a
no
critique,
problem.
you don't get up and make a scene like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But going to the next topic I want to talk about is, so there's a big scare going on in the market. A lot of these investors, Michael Burry and a few of these other top hedge fund and these investors are talking about a huge market, well, actually an epic market crash that's coming, and that's looming over this country, and specifically about the government stimulus.
Okay.
So
let's dive in.
No, I'm telling you this right now. I think that there is something that's looming right now in the country because there's so much money floating around because of the pandemic, the PPP loans, people getting all this money. We've seen it the other day. You pulled up on your phone these guys getting SBA monies and using it to buy Lamborghinis and bullshit.
And fraud.
And to do fraud.
Stupidity. Instead of using it for what they're really supposed to use it for.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, too, is what you said it, they're creating fake, businesses?
Yeah, they're probably creating fake businesses, fake tax returns,
come on.
Remember, the IRS they're so understaffed right now. How are they going to find
What makes
that?
people think they're going to get away with that shit?
because the money hit their bank account, and then they think they just got
because
away
money
with
hit
it.
your bank account doesn't mean you're gonna get away with it.
For some people, they don't think like how we think, or the majority population. Some people, they get the money in the bank account. They say, oh, it worked. They don't know that there's an audit and there's guidelines behind that money.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be using that SBA loan and pulling out, Ferraris and stuff.
What's interesting, a lot of people have been using these stimulus checks and all these loans to put into crypto.
A lot of people have been doing that too. A lot of people have been doing that. And there's specific guidelines in the SBA that you cannot be doing those type of maneuvers. The money goes straight to your business.
And used for business purposes only.
Business purposes only.
Business investments, expenses, or paying off debt for your business. Very important to read those guidelines.
I think with the bubble that's going to pop is going to be the crypto space. It's going to pop. You're going to have the NFTs and then stocks. It's just going to be a trifecta. All of them are going to pop at the same time.
Yeah. What's not going to pop?
I think everything is bound for correction. I think real estate right now, the thing is real estate is so different in different markets. I think real estate would have maybe the least impact if they're in a correction.
Here.
Yeah, I think if out of all of them, I think the crypto, the NFTs, everything else will have a vast drop off. I think real estate will drop, but not crazy. Because then think about it, a lot of people are investing in speculation. You're getting these projects, you're putting your money behind certain crypto projects. You have no idea what they're about, but you're buying it for the sole idea that if you put $1 today, it's going to be $2 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like literally the next day, 100% return.
So take your money, put it where right now?
Just put it, honestly, diversify it. You have to have diversified portfolio.
We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, you own a little bit of real estate. You keep your real estate portfolio. You buy some real estate. If you own, stocks, it's not about just buying. And this is the thing I want to clarify. It's not about buying. Not all the stocks are going to drop crazy. It's just owning the right companies, the right stocks, the right NFTs, the right crypto asset.
The right everything.
That's going to protect you. Now, if you're buying certain ones that are hyper speculative that you don't know, if you're investing in a pharmaceutical company, for example, that's coming out with this hot drug and they haven't gotten FDA approval yet, and you're putting your bets that it's going to pass, that's huge speculation.
50-50.
Same thing with one of these projects, these NFTs that you think they're going to turn into a Bored Ape. It's not putting all your eggs in one basket. It's diversifying.
Yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah, but I do think that there's too much money floating around that there has to be some form of correction that's going to happen in the marketplace. Yeah. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Could be in 2022.
And the best investment, guys, is invest in yourself. That's the best one.
Yep, that's the best one.
Easily the best one.
And I'll dive into our next topic is how to increase your prices in your business. So I think it's a good topic because inflation, everything going on. How do you increase your prices for your service?
How to increase your prices and your business.
What's the best way to go about that, Anthony?
So here's the thing. And you mentioned about the market that we're in now, right? Look, I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is, whatever business you go into, every business has first off competition, right? What I mean by that is you're going to have other people doing what you're doing. So the first thing you want to do is you got to ask yourself in that industry that you're in, okay, how am I going to define myself amongst these people? Am I going to go after more the volume? Am I going to go more quality and up the product service or delivery? And I'm going to charge more within that same space? Or am I going to play kind of even in the middle? Where am I going to play at? You need to ask yourself, where do I want to play in? Then from there, you can peel back the layers and okay, who are the people in my space now from all these people that are playing the quality game? Let's say you're going for quality, the quality game. You want to go more high pricing. You look at them, you look at their offers, you look at their services, you look at what they're doing, you look at their products, right? You look at everything, right? The way they're branding, the way they're doing things. This does not mean, guys, for you to copy them. This is just for you to also get ideas and understand what's out there. So when you go and compete and when you go into the market, right? So I think it's important that you do that. You do that analysis, right? For each one. If you're going the volume game, then in your industry, find those people that are doing that, right? Go in there and dissect. Then you can start more or less seeing what are the different price points that are going out there. What are the different price points? And then also too, you can start seeing, okay, what are the difference between your offers and their offers that maybe might make yours a little bit more unique or a little bit more different within that same industry. And then you have to ask yourself truthfully, okay, in the competition, in the competitive market, more or less, what is the price points? That's more or less, I can create something around that ballpark. And then from there, you can add on, okay, how long have I been in the industry for? What credentials do I have? What education do I have? How much I've invested in my business? What new things have I gotten for my business recently? All those things are going to be huge, important pieces when you're thinking about putting a price point, because you can come in and say, I'm the quality, I'm going to start charging high prices, and another one is charging high prices. But if you have less credentials in them and you have less information, less experience, your prices are probably not going to be able to be as high as theirs. Even if you're going for the high price market game, because that's the industry you're focusing on in that specific space, you might not be able to compete with them because you don't have the experience or you don't have the information yet to be able to compete with them. But once you do, or if you do, then you have to know your worth. That's where you know your worth. Now you can say, well, I studied this long. I have this many years doing this. I got this many resources, this many workshops, this much information. I spent this much money on my products to make them the best. This is why this is worth this, or why I'm worth this. So you have to really break it down and figure that out, right? And then you have to just be truthful with yourself. Do I believe in my service? Do I truly believe it, that I would use it, that I'm willing to give it to people where it's safe, it's effective, it's impactful, and it's backed up because it works? Then you could put your price on it.
Impactful. You see, that is what a lot of people forget to miss. They'll undercut themselves so much, and with clients that I've worked with, they'll put their prices so low under the market, and they'll say, hey, you know what? My logic is I'm going to put my price at this point below the industry so I can get more clients. When in reality, what you're doing is you're diluting your potential clients, and you're devaluing yourself, your brand. Because what happens? When people start seeing your prices that low and they start comparing with other people, it's funny. People start saying, hey, why are you $50, for example, for, whatever, and this other person charging $100? Then it's not about whether you and the person have same credentials, same experience. Your experience could be even better. But because their price is at 100, there's a perceived value that they know what they're doing, and they're provide more value back.
Look, let me give you two perfect examples. Look at Planet Fitness. Look at Equinox. Both gyms, but they serve different people. Planet Fitness decided to play the volume game. They have way more gyms, right? But they target a certain audience, right? They target people who are not the most serious fitness fanatic people, but they're people who just want to feel like, you know what? I'm getting my workout in once in a while just to feel good. I just want to know I got in. I did what I had to do. But I'm not a fanatic, or I'm not into this whole bougie experience or this lifestyle experience. I just want to know I went in, I did some work, and I got out. And I don't want to have to pay this much money. That's why they're charging $10 an hour. But here's the thing. Equinox is the opposite. Equinox attains more the bougie, the lifestyle, the holistic, incorporate the different ways of healing your body. They're very about like the experience, high quality. Everything's nice. Everything's set in a high quality luxury fashion. Right, the training services are top tier. The education in the training department is top tier versus Planet Fitness. So they're tailoring to two different people, right? But here's the crazy part. Equinox doesn't have as many gyms that Planet Fitness does, but Planet Fitness doesn't have the price point that Equinox does. But they're both making around the same money. They're both making around the same money. You got to just ask yourself, when you're creating these offers, which is the avenue I want to take? What game do I want to play? Because if this is your audience here, I'll tell you right now, you're not going to be able to charge Equinox prices to an audience like Planet Fitness. And if you charge Planet Fitness prices to an audience like Equinox, they're going to be like, I don't want to go to this cheap shit. If it's cheap, it's bad. And then Planet Fitness is going to be like, why the hell is this expensive? I'm not paying $200 a month and I'm getting this bullshit here. I should be expecting this. For that, I go over here. So you have to know where your audience is. First, hanging out. You have to obviously know who they are, what they want. And then you decide if that's the market you want to enter, whether it's the volume game or the high quality, high price game. You got to pick and choose. And then you have to be smart on how you go about it.
Yeah, and those are two different business models. One is choosing to do more high-end, high-ticket offerings. The other one's doing low-ticket. And a lot of people think, and going back into like one-on-one, clients that we've worked with, if you are, depending on product or service, but we're going to talk more about a service-based business that you may have. If you can cater towards a volume audience, and that's something that's more appealing, you're able to create a process systems for it, then it can make sense for you to go down that path. But a lot of people, what we see is like one-on-one trainers, they'll put themselves at that low volume ticket, but they don't have a product to cater that. And there's a difference. You can do a service, but remember what service you're providing. Now, if you created an online course, that course can be a low ticket offer that you provide to your clients at that level that they're looking at for training.
Yeah, whatever level.
Exactly. And then if you're looking for somebody who's in a higher ticket, then you can provide a higher ticket one-on-one coaching.
But here's the other thing, especially with the fitness online space or the coaching space, whatever it is you're doing in the coaching space, you need to understand too, because here's the other part. When it comes to the volume game, you have to understand that if you don't have this insane amount of traffic coming in, you're not going to survive in the volume game. If you're charging a very low ticket, $100, $50, $200, $300, $400, you're not going to survive because you don't have enough traffic. You have to be real with yourself. But if you're very educated, you're smart, you really believe in your product, you've helped people, right? You know what you're doing, you have the credentials to back it up, but maybe you're new to the social media space or you're new to this world of trying to be able to lead gen and get traffic, well, then you need to create a high ticket model that's going to be a higher offering where you can make more money, you're delivering higher quality services and more attention because you don't have such a huge traffic source yet, but you need to be able to make that money somehow. You do that, and that's how you're going to be able to start moving the needle. Then from there, you can create in between tiers, lower tiers, and now you can play off 3 different ones, like a high ticket, a middle ticket, and a low ticket. And now you have different offers for different types of individuals that you're trying to serve. But you have to start somewhere. But I always recommend high ticket first. Obviously, some of these celebs or some of these big influencers who have huge, massive followings, they can get away with $100 a month, $200, because you have such a high amount of following. YouTubers and Instagrammers and TikTokers, they can do that. The ones that are in the millions. But if you're not that TikToker or that influencer, that YouTuber, you cannot survive like that. Let's be real here. You cannot survive like that. So you have to understand that you have to go at it as a different approach, and that's why it is somewhat different when comparing the 2 gym analogies I gave you, as when you're trying to go at it as a personal individual, It's you have to be able to see where you're currently at and how much traffic you can really bring in. So you need to be real with yourself, and that's what's going to help determine more or less where your price point should be at, right? And it's also going to determine the direction you're going to be able to properly take and capitalize on. Because if you decide to say, you know what, I got 1,000 followers, but I only want to charge this much. I want to charge $50 to my people. Well, you know what? You're going to end up not making money, and you're going to get discouraged. And then what you're going to do with like all other coaches, this doesn't work for me. No, it's not that this doesn't work for you. Your offering doesn't work for you.
Yeah, you got to change.
Your work doesn't work for you. It's not that your work doesn't work. It's your offering doesn't work. You need to change it.
You need to change it.
And it's not working. It's not helping you.
And this is the thing, when a lot of people think when they're starting on their journey, they're like, let's just start, forget it, just move forward. Let's just get it going, and that's it. The most important thing about even starting the business is what is the vehicle within your business that you're going to use to get you to that goal. And if you're driving around a beat-up car, those are the results you're going to get. You're going to get beat-up offers. Yeah. But if you drive, and we're using this analogy, a nice Porsche, and your product is a great service, and it's going to get you there, now let's flip that analogy of, all right, so you want to make $1 million. What is the tool that you're going to get there? What's the vehicle? Okay, it's going to be training. Okay, and it's all about math. You need to make X, Y, and Z connections, contacts, follow-ups to close this many average in a month. And if those numbers average up to your end goal, then that's the vehicle you got to start using. Those are the prices you have to use, and that's the formula. Because everything comes back to the end of the day of numbers and conversions, ratios. What does it take for you to close a deal? Map that process out sequentially and create your processes and procedures 100%. So you can duplicate it when you get to the level of hiring a team. Because the moment that you hire your team and bring them on board, you need to duplicate your same system so then they can learn it, and then that's how you are going to scale.
And once you start growing, once you get to a certain level of scalability and team building, you can then explore other offerings. You can then test out and experiment other offerings because you can do it, right? But at the beginning, you have to be very, very focused and figure out what it is who it is you want to serve, what it is that you have to offer in the first place, as far as your expertise, your information, your experience, and then from there, analyze the market that you're getting yourself into, and do some market research, and see what it is that you can put yourself in that makes sense. So that's my advice, man. That's honestly my advice when it comes into this, especially doing this myself as a coach in the online world, and having helped hundreds and hundreds of coaches do this as well. Because one of the biggest things I see all the time, and that's why I'm a big fan of the high ticket, because the high tickets has so much more opportunity. And let's be real, not everybody has 1 million followers. Majority of people don't. But majority of people out there, in the sense of like, that I've worked with coaches and personal trainers, a lot of the ones that I find, because remember, I have my own audience too, that I find who are quality coaches deserve to get paid well. And I've seen coaches who don't have nearly the big enough following as some of these big individuals, and they're way better than coaches than them. But the problem is they don't understand how to market themselves. And these other individuals know how to market themselves. They know how to disrupt. They know how to create traffic. And you can be a great coach, but you don't know how to do that. And that's why it's important to understand also your weaknesses and your strengths when you enter this game. Because if you are going to put yourself if you're going to put yourself in a place that you're going to have how do I say it? You're going to put yourself in a place to be able to compete in your market. You have to also have the right pieces, the right information in place. If not, you're going to lose. And you have to also be very real with yourself. But that's why I love the high ticket, because it's always something that is based off you and your background. It's not based off the number of followers you have. And that's why I always recommend start with a high ticket. Because with a high ticket, you can always work your way backwards. And you can always create multiple offers downwards. But always, my recommendation, start with a high ticket. You cannot afford, especially somebody who doesn't have 1 million followers, you cannot afford just charging very small, low-ticket offering subscriptions and thinking you're going to survive.
It comes back to the end day of just running your numbers. And that is what it is. If you don't run your numbers when you start your business, you're not going to succeed. As much as you might hate counting, subtracting, doing algebra, you don't have to do algebra. As much as people think you do algebra, you don't. It's just adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying.
Take out that calculator, guys.
And take out the calculator and start running those numbers.
That's it.
And if you're able to do that and run through those numbers, you create a plan, you follow it, and it's very simple. You'll get to that goal. It's just track your numbers.
Boom.
That's it.
Done.
Guys,
if you got value out of this, we'd appreciate it if you like, subscribe, comment, share, show some love, because the more love you show us, the more love we can show back. Drop that rating, leave a review, and let's get after it.